What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Okay, I've got a clip to show you guys that's going to flip your freaking lid. And, oh, guess what? Somebody's lying over here, but, you know, figure that out for yourselves. Check this out.
Imagine a 78-year-old man who often speaks incoherently and lies to you in ways that leave you wondering whether he is a pathological liar or delusional or both, pocket dials someone he doesn't want to talk to at 1:28 a.m. And then imagine that same 78-year-old man is angrily braying at the world at 5:24 a.m., claiming people have committed crimes that do not exist, and coming up with a name for those people committing the crimes that don't exist, using words that have never been joined together and make absolutely no sense, calling them, quote, negative criminals. Of course, you would be concerned about the mental health of such a person. Of course, you would assume some kind of serious neurological decline in the 78-year-old man. Imagine that same 78-year-old man also said, I run the country and the world. And now, imagine if Joe Biden had done just one of those things. There would have been 4-inch headlines about cognitive decline. But that's just one news cycle with Donald Trump, who did every one of those things. He butt-dialed a reporter for The Atlantic at 1:28 a.m. who he did not want to talk to, but with whom he did eventually do an interview in which he said, I run the country and the world.
Okay, so if all they have on Donald Trump is out-of-context quotes, yeah, we're winning, folks. As a matter of fact, we're absolutely winning. Yeah, I don't believe you guys when you say, oh, Donald Trump pocket dialed and a reporter he didn't want to talk to. Are you kidding me here? Like, are you serious with that? He really pocket dialed somebody? Like, think about that at 1:28 in the morning. Why would he have that Atlantic journalist's phone number anyway? His personal phone number. That doesn't make any sense, does it? And, you know, once again, I'll throw the post up here. You know, I'm not going to read it all the way out, but when I saw that clip this morning, I'm like, what in the fuck is Donald Trump talking about negative criminals? It just kind of threw me for a freaking loop, so I had to go read the post. Okay, after reading the post, it makes a lot more sense, okay? It's not just some ranting and ravings of a lunatic 78-year-old pocket dialing journalists that he doesn't want to talk to. Nothing of the sort. It's funny because Trump is a comedian. He's also the president of the United States. This is freaking hilarious. These people are insane, and they will do anything and everything they can to take Donald Trump out of context and place him in different context. It is lovely to watch these people. I just wanted to get that out of there because once again, if the only thing you have is out of context quotes and out of context clips and lies from journalists that make absolutely no sense, I mean, what are you doing with your lives? Speaking of what are you doing with your lives, I'm going to throw this headline up there right quick. Yeah, I am surprised, absolutely surprised. Michigan Democrat files articles of impeachment against Trump. I am surprised it has taken them 100 days to do this. I'm surprised they didn't have these ready to go on day one. Like, nothing in there is true at all. All of it's lies. All of it's built upon a base of lies. So it's like, you know, what are they even talking about here? They're not talking about anything, are they? No, because they're never talking about anything. But we've got some actual news to get into in case you guys wanted to hear the news. Here it is, folks. Check this out. Musk, companies could avoid $2 billion in potential liability over Doge roll, says a report. Okay, so this is a fascinating article. Okay, so a Senate committee that was pretty much led by Democrats, weird, I know, put together this report. And it is very, very it's funny in my opinion, because once again, when your entire worldview is based upon lies, yeah, none of your ramblings are going to make any sense. They're all going to be incoherent, as is this report. It's fascinating. Let's get into it right quick, y'all. Check this out. Tech billionaire Elon Musk and his numerous companies could avoid more than $2.37 billion in potential legal liability as a result of his influential role in the federal government, a new Senate report alleges. Oh, is that so? The report, published Monday by the Democratic staff for the Senate Homeland Security Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations, found Musk and his companies faced at least 65 actual or potential actions from 11 federal agencies and at least $2.37 billion in potential liability as of Inauguration Day. Now, what is so fascinating about that is not even from the full committee. That is, the staffers wrote this up. And that is, Democratic staffers wrote this up. So what does this actually mean? It means absolutely nothing. That is what it means. Democrats are grasping at straws here, as they always do, because Democrats have no moral compass. Democrats have no party platform. As a matter of fact, they don't have any policy positions that they can run on that are popular with Americans. As a matter of fact, that they actually try to push. Nothing that they do is moving the needle in any sort of sense. Their party is in current chaos. Yeah, chaos, as a matter of fact, right now. And, their constituency, the slim few people out there that actually think Democrats can do anything, are begging for Democrats to do something. So this is what they come up with. An absolute nothing burger that makes a bunch of false accusations with a totally made up number. $2.37 billion. Based upon a fake worldview from the fake news in this country. It's fascinating, y'all. It really is. The nature of Mr. Musk's businesses, as well as their substantial earnings from government contracts, mean that he is deeply entangled in the regulatory functions of the government he is now empowered to shape, the report stated. That's not true. That is not true at all. Now, you might be thinking, well, yeah, Elon Musk, he's got a lot of influence in the government. Yeah. He's working with Doge. With Doge. They have zero regulatory power, as a matter of fact. So all of that makes that complete statement nonsense, which makes this entire report nonsense. He has zero regulatory power. And the Trump administration, in full transparency, has also already proved that if any conflicts of interest arise, they eliminate those conflicts of interest, just like, I forget when it was exactly, but Donald Trump canceled a contract with Tesla, as a matter of fact, that they had. I think it was $400 million. If I can find the article, I'll throw it up right here. $400 million contract that was signed under the Biden administration. Donald Trump canceled that contract because he hired Elon Musk to come in and clean up the government. So I don't know. You guys tell me. Right? Everybody, they're always saying, or at least Democrats, I'll say, Democrats are always saying that, oh, Elon Musk, he's just enriching himself. That's all he's doing here. He's actually lost a lot. He's lost a lot of his net worth. And is anybody crying about that? Abso-freaking-lutely not. I think it's hilarious that he's lost a lot of his net worth. Like, who needs that much money anyway? So I could care less if he loses some. But what does that show you, folks? He's not taking a paycheck from the government. Abso-freaking-lutely not. And he's lost major portions of his net worth in doing so. He's taken a hit after hit after hit from the fake news apparatus in this country. So what does that tell you? He's not doing this for himself. It's absolutely not. He's doing it to help the country because we have a spending problem in this country. And when governments have spending problems, that has to be remedied quickly or gets out of hand and your country just so happens to get $37 trillion in debt. Yeah, so they're trying to fix issues. They're not just in it for themselves. That is the funniest accusation that I think I've ever heard about Elon Musk and Donald Trump, because obviously Donald Trump's doing all this for himself too, putting himself in the line of fire to where he could get himself killed. All because, for what? What is he doing? He's not taking a paycheck either. And he's lost a significant portion of his net worth as well. It's freaking hilarious, that narrative, if you will. President Trump could not have chosen a person more prone to conflicts of interest. Funny. Musk is leading Trump's Department of Government Efficiency cost-cutting initiative, which has led to mass layoffs or program spending cuts at numerous federal agencies. The subcommittee said it conducted a probe of 65 actions to understand the financial impact of President Trump's delegation of power on potential liabilities and scrutiny facing Musk and his companies. That is a bunch of word salad nonsense right there to say, yeah, this is a bunk investigation. The goal of this analysis is to estimate the financial liability that Mr. Musk and his companies may stand to avoid through his efforts to gut the federal workforce and exert influence over federal agencies, the report stated. The goal is to estimate. Oh, so you're estimating the financial liabilities, huh? I wonder where you're getting these estimates from, because once again, he's currently working with the government, right, doing all this work. He is not doing anything with his companies, and as a matter of fact, thanks to the Democrats' constituency, Tesla dealerships and people's personal Teslas have been vandalized, burnt to the ground, firebombed, you name it, just destroyed outright. All because Democrats love freaking violence for some reason. And I don't understand that. I say Democrats, but it's really the far left. It's the far left. They love their violence, and they hate Donald Trump and Republicans over here for what? Trying to save the federal government from its spending woes, if you will. It's all nonsense is what it is. I mean, seriously. You're going to attack and damage somebody's personal Tesla to get back at Elon Musk. How much sense does that make, folks? This is how you know these people have zero moral compass whatsoever. And it's a shame that we have to live in a country with people like that. It really is. And I know that may sound harsh, but it's a shame. People are entitled to their views. But when it comes to violence and vandalism and all that nonsense, no. You just crossed a line. Those are criminal offenses, as a matter of fact. And as a matter of fact, Pam Bondi is not playing any freaking games with this whatsoever. You know, if you want to go out and vandalize Tesla, go right ahead. But if you get caught, that's terrorism, as a matter of fact, because that is a political statement. It is violence in the name of a political movement. And that's what terrorism is, folks. And that's what they are doing. They are terrorizing average, everyday folks. As a matter of fact, some of these people that they are terrorizing might just totally agree with their worldview. And they're going after those people. What does that sound like to you, folks? What does that sounds like a cult to me. Huh. Imagine that. The report claims to reveal, which it doesn't, the vast risk Mr. Musk and his companies previously faced and may yet avoid as a result of his newfound influence. The billions in potential liabilities stem from actions against his electric vehicle manufacturing company Tesla, aerospace firm SpaceX, and Neuralink, his neurotechnology company. Neuralink and Tesla are accused of making false or misleading statements about some of their product features, while SpaceX allegedly failed to follow rocket launch requirements in 2023, according to the report. Oh, is that what it is? You mean just like pretty much every other company out there, they make misleading statements? How about the corporate press? I mean, that is a product. the news is a product because these people make money off of that. And every single article they publish is manipulative, misleading in some sort of fashion. How come we're not having these staffers write up these reports on every single corporate press outlet in America? Oh, because the CEOs or whatever of all of those corporate press outlets in America are not Elon Musk. That is right. I wonder why, none of these other space companies, aerospace companies, have gotten a report like this. Maybe it's because the founder and CEO is not Elon Musk. Oh my God, failure to follow rocket launch requirements. Are you kidding me? That is fascinating, y'all. Neuralink is also facing action for allegedly violating the Animal Welfare Act, while Musk's construction firm, the Boring Company, faces citations from the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA. The Hill reached out to the four companies for comment, and then they don't tell you if they commented or not. Some of the agencies behind the regulatory actions are the same ones facing cuts and drastic changes as a result of Doge, the lawmakers pointed out. Oh, they pointed that out. Yeah, but what does that have to do with Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, the Boring Company? I'm waiting. What does any of that have to do with any of those things? Nothing. Nothing whatsoever. So once again, they are putting out this report accusing Elon Musk based upon a false premise. That's all it is. Really. You'll see. They prove it themselves. The through line connecting many of Mr. Musk's decisions appears to be self-enrichment and avoiding what he perceives as obstacles to advancing his interests, the memo stated. Well, you know what? That memo did not prove that. As a matter of fact, they didn't even pontificate upon that at all. They just made a statement without evidence. And what is so funny about this is coming from the Hill. And you know what's fascinating is you notice in there they didn't mention anything about they made that statement without evidence or they claimed this, they alleged this. They just said that that's what they just claimed that that's what that report pointed out, right? That's all they said. They didn't say they made it without evidence, which is fascinating because how come it's always Republicans say things without evidence? And it's never Democrats say things without evidence. So you mean to tell me that Democrats always bring all the evidence for every single thing that they say? That's what they're telling you with this, folks. That is exactly what they're saying. Fascinating, that is, isn't it? Mr. Musk's position may allow him to evade oversight, derail investigations, and make litigation disappear whenever he so chooses on his terms and at his command. Well, once again, the Hill probably, it's just a typo. They forgot to say that they said that without evidence, by the way, because they provided zero evidence in their report as to what they're talking about here. Because Elon Musk has no power, folks. They have zero power. The only power they may appear to have derives from Donald Trump. Donald Trump is telling Musk, hey, go to this department, do this, do this, do this. So it's Donald Trump doing it. It's not Elon Musk. Elon Musk just pretty much hired the people, brought the team together, if you will. And he's somewhat semi-directing where they go and what they do. And he's putting his brain power into going through all their data and trying to figure out how to streamline everything. These people are absolutely insane. And the corporate press does not hold Democrats to account when they lie. They do not. They just absolutely do not. The subcommittee's ranking member, Senator Richard Blumenthal, sent letters to the four companies along with Musk's artificial intelligence company XAI asking for information about the federal investigation that were active on January 20th. Sorry, I got tongue-tied in my brain, if you will. Musk's demonstrated influence over senior leaders has enabled him to terminate or marginalize officials willing to challenge his authority. Is that so? Once again, they brought that they said that they made that claim without any evidence whatsoever. Because there is no evidence of any of this, because Elon Musk cannot terminate any investigations himself. Has he terminated investigations, or did Donald Trump terminate investigations? I wonder about that. It's fascinating. His threatened retaliation may intimidate many others, Blumenthal wrote in his letter to Tesla. Once again, he also said that without evidence. Because threatened retaliation, where's the evidence that he's ever threatened any retaliation whatsoever? There is none, folks. Are you seeing a through line here? That the corporate press isn't holding Democrats to account? White House Communications Director Stephen Chung fiercely denied the claims of the report on Monday. Mr. Musk has never used his position for personal or financial gain, and any assertion otherwise is completely false and defamatory, Chung wrote in a statement to The Hill. However, Democratic lawmakers have repeatedly sounded the alarm over Musk's compliance with conflict of interest, ethics, and reporting requirements. Amid mounting scrutiny and backlash against his firms, notably including Tesla, Musk said last week that he plans to spend less time on the Doge efforts by the end of May to focus on his other companies. Yeah, because he's not doing anything for his companies currently right now. What I find so fascinating about that is, the mounting scrutiny and backlash for Musk's companies are coming from Democrats. Don't you find that to be a bit of a conflict of interest there? Corporate press? How about you mentioned, that they're bringing all this without evidence? Because you go read that report, it's not very long. You can go look it up, as a matter of fact. Check it out. It's not very long enough. They don't bring no evidence. And once again, it's all based upon lies. It's all based upon conjecture from corporate press news articles. And I wonder where corporate press news articles source their material from. From the same Democrats, by the way. So it's a circuitous loop of information here. The Senate Democrats or staffers give the corporate press information, then the corporate press reports on said information, then the Democratic staffers write a report based upon the corporate press articles that came from themselves. You see how I did that? I made a circle with myself. Yes, that is how that is done, folks. And that is a tactic used by the corporate press all the freaking time. Anytime you see unnamed sources. Yeah. Who are these unnamed sources? Somebody familiar with that program or whatever, right? Yeah, that's where that information comes from, as a matter of fact. It's all absurd. And it's all meant to manipulate you. Once again, like those polls that came out over the weekend. Fascinating that is, huh? Fascinating that somehow all these corporate press outlet polls are down with Trump's approval rating. They're down by a lot, y'all. They're down into the 30s, as a matter of fact, on most of them. And then somehow, independent polling places, there's 4 or 5 of them, their approval ratings for Trump have stayed the same. Absolutely. That's fascinating. I wonder why these corporate press approval ratings would go down and theirs wouldn't. That's weird, don't you think? These are things you need to pick up on, folks. You need to know it's like this is an entire opinion statement. They're just reporting on a report. As a matter of fact. So it's like, where did they get their facts from to base that report on? Probably the corporate press. That's what it sounds like to me when I read that report. Fascinating, isn't it? Very, very fascinating. But you gotta love how the corporate press, the media apparatus in this country, it's like everything is built upon lies, upon lies, upon more lies. And it's fed to you on a silver platter. And what I find so fascinating is people like this guy right here we'll just appeal to that authority and just believe it when they are not any authority whatsoever. Yeah, the corporate press, yeah, they don't have any authority over you at all. They are not an authority that you should appeal to, as a matter of fact, my guy. Once again, folks, if you pay attention to this channel, you will be handed the tools necessary that when you read these corporate press news articles, you look at some of the word usage, you will be able to figure out real quickly when you are being manipulated by these news articles. It's quite easy most of the time. Just take everything with a bit of skepticism. Do a little bit of research, and you'll be good. You'll be good to go constantly. And it really makes me sick to my stomach that we have almost zero fair and balanced news outlets in this country, right? They put the fun in funeral, if you will, right? Where is that? As a matter of fact, there is no fun in funeral. Well, I mean, there is, but you know what I mean, right? So it's a headache constantly having to go through these news articles. Of course, though, if we had fair and balanced news in this country, I wouldn't be doing this outright. Honestly, that's the only reason I am doing this, is because of them. Because they're freaking way off balance and completely unfair with most of their reporting. And that's just it. It is how it is, folks. I mean, this is, I hate to say it, but it seems like this country is just falling off a cliff and just isn't going to be able to come back from it. You know, I mean, our culture is collapsing. People don't have morals these days. They just run around, do whatever the hell they want to. I mean, for crying out loud, we have drag queens reading children's books to children, and people advocate for this. That is a sign of a dying civilization, if you ask me. And, you know, it seems like we're trying to get a return because, you know, my son goes to church a lot more than I did, and he's enthusiastic about it. I didn't want to go to church, to be honest with you, when I was a kid. Did not want to go to church whatsoever. I hated it for some reason. Didn't like it till I got, you know, a bit older, and I kind of realized, you know, I'm not going to get into that. We're not talking about that, but, you know, I see something with my son. He's way better than I was when I was his age. In other words, he's much more focused on his schooling. He's much more focused on God. He's focused on his priorities. I was focused on myself. And that is the problem with a lot of millennials these days. I know I'm just so happen to be a first-year millennial, if you will. I'm like right on the edge. Boom. That tells you how old I am. I identify as a Gen X, but technically I'm a millennial. But, you know, it is what it is, folks. But I think I've rambled on for long enough on this one. I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. Because, yeah, it blows my mind. And I would love to see if your mind's blown. So y'all let me know what y'all think. That's all I got on this one. Y'all don't forget to smash that like button for me. Subscribe if you're new around here. And like to stay up to date with how you're being manipulated by corporate press news articles. Because that's what we do. We read the news, get the rest of the facts with the news. And then we figure out how we're being manipulated by said news. That is what we do. And that is that's the only thing I seem to be good at. I'm not good at anything else. Except reading and identifying manipulations. It is what it is, folks. Y'all let me know what y'all think. That's all I got. I want to thank everybody for watching. And y'all try to have a good day. Stay logical. Peace.